y'all. So there's this story where there's this beggar on the street. He's sitting on this box, right? And somebody walks by. It's a gentleman that walks by, and the beggar was like, "Hey, do you have $1 to spare me?" The gentleman is like, "Nah, how about you check that box that you're sitting on?" He was like, "Nah, I've been sitting on this box for years. It's nothing in there." The gentleman was like, "Nah, I think you should check your box." So the beggar gets up and he lifts up the box, and he notices it was a box full of gold. And he's been sitting on that box for so many years. And that really made me think about how many of us have been sitting on our box all of our lives. All these years, missing out on all the jewels, all the power, all the strength that we have inside. And it's crazy that all those amazing ideas and dreams have been suffocating in this box that we've been sitting on. Your own weight has been holding you back. My own weight has been holding me back for years, but it's time for you to step outside of your underground. Step out of it. Step outside of your comfort zone. So it's so crazy how you're one step away from everything that you've always wanted. And it's really the person in the mirror that really be blocking our dreams. Jim Rohn says, your missing piece to success is you. The major key to success is you. So you have to remember that you got a box full of gold, full of wealth, that you just got to get up off of. And I think about that all the time when I think about my abilities, my possibilities. I think about it all the time when I think about everything that try to prevent, distract, and destroy me. So it reminds me of those days where I used to sleep in the closet, right? In high school. And at times I felt defeated. At times I felt discouraged. At times I didn't even know if I'd ever be out of that situation. But I want everybody to remember that your situation is not your destination. If you use implementation, implementing yourself, implementing strategies, changing your regular habits into wealthy habits. So that's one of the things I'm constantly thinking about, is how to change myself. But not only change, but grow. Because there's something right now that you're doing every single day that's adding into that story of your life. I look at life as a book, right? Every day is a different page in your story. Well, are you gonna choose to write something different today? And that's part of stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of the norm, and really pushing yourself to your limits, because you are limitless, you are boundless. And that's something I gotta constantly remind myself of, because life will begin to program you when things start to happen, when adversity, storms, pain, you know what I'm saying, discomfort. When that starts to hit you, guess what? Life is programming you. But you gotta remember to program yourself. Stand up and say, I can and I will. It's possible for me. If anybody says it's impossible, impossible just means impossible. You gotta remember that you're possible. And that's what a lot of us are missing. We're missing that faith, right? You gotta feed your faith and starve your fears. I got this 3M strategy. It's the 3 M's. It's your mindset, it's your movement, and it's your manifestation and spirituality, right? Your mindset, you gotta make sure you got a strong mindset. You gotta make sure you locked into you. You gotta make sure you feed in your mind like you want it to grow. What you feed is what will breed. You gotta feed yourself the things that's gonna help you grow, that's gonna take you to the next level. You gotta stretch for your goals. But first, it starts with your mentality, on what you feed in your mind, the people that you're talking to, the people that you surrounding yourself with. Why? Because that pours into our mindset, the things that you're doing daily. It starts with those mind strategies, right? Because what you say, what you think, they all combine into what become reality for you. Second M, movement. We gotta get out here and move. And we gotta continue to move. I always tell people, you don't gotta go at the other person's pace, but you gotta make sure you continue to move. That's one thing with me, y'all. I travel a lot, right? So when I'm on a highway and I hit a bad storm, right? Something real bad happening, I gotta remind myself to continue to move through the storm. Everybody pulling off to the side, stopping their vehicles. What do? I adjust my speed. Sometimes in life, we don't need to stop, but we need to adjust our speed. So I want to tell you now, when things start to get rough, When things start to get difficult, adjust your speed. Don't stop, but adjust your speed to where you can still keep going. And that's that mentality that we gotta have in life. Don't stop, keep going. Just adjust your speed, get back up, keep going, right? It doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I want you to take those L's, but I want you to take it as a lesson and not a loss, right? So you gotta keep moving, you gotta stay persistent, you gotta stay consistent. That's the second M, movement. Third M, manifestation. Now y'all, I love this piece. Manifestation and spirituality. That's when you proclaiming it, right? In order to be specific, you gotta be prolific. In order to be prolific, you gotta be specific. You gotta understand that what's for you is what's for you, and nobody can stop it. That's for you. Your dreams, your blueprint, not everybody's gonna understand it. Why? Because it was only destined for you to read it and execute it. Not everybody's gonna understand that. So manifestation and spirituality is you aligning with your peace, aligning with your power, figuring out that you are the missing piece, figuring out that whatever I can put my mind to, whatever I say out loud, whatever I write down, whatever affirmations I say, is reality for me. You gotta see yourself past where you currently are. I'm beyond measures, I'm abundant. You gotta live abundant. I'm living in abundance, no longer in scarcity. I tell my friends and family to live abundantly, right? You gotta live full. I don't wanna exist no more. How many of y'all wanna exist? I wanna live. So look, if you wanna live, if you want tips on how to live, look, I want y'all to drop something in the comments that you living for, not just existing. Drop in the comments, what are you living for? Because that's your why. That's what's gonna push you. That's what's gonna keep you going. That's what's gonna keep you energized.
How do I know I'm stuck in the comfort zone?
How do you know when you're stuck in the comfort zone? You know you're stuck in the comfort zone when you continue to see the same things every single day. You know you're stuck in your comfort zone when you look a year ago and you're still in the same place that you were. You know that you're in your comfort zone when you haven't seen your circle start to change. And when I talk about this circle, y'all, I don't mean just like that friend group. I mean your conversations as well. If your conversations aren't elevating, 9 times out of 10, you're not elevating. If things aren't getting hard, you're not leveling up. You know you're moving out of your comfort zone when you start to stretch and you start to do things that's out of the norm. You know you're moving out of your comfort zone, honestly, when people start to remove themselves from you. Why? Because isolation is a form of elevation. When you start to see people that were meant to be seasonal in your life start to fall off, you know you're starting to move out your comfort zone, because what they say is, as you continue to elevate, you're going to continue to see things change in your life. Why? Because your environment will change you before you change it. So what you got to do, you got to move. So you got to keep an eye on what zone you in, because if you're in your comfort zone, you're going to continue to see the same things back to back to back. Family members going down the cycle of defeat is what I call it. Friends going down the cycle of defeat, right? That cycle of defeat is something that you're stuck in. You've seen the same people doing the same things every single day. They talk about they wanting more, but they never doing nothing, right? It's execution. A lot of us can talk. It's common sense, but it's not common practice. So that's how you know you feel in your comfort zone or not. If you saying the same things back to back, you ain't doing enough. Because when you see change, you also got to see growth. It's one thing to change. Everybody gonna change. But how many of us are gonna grow? That's something we got to tap in with. So look, y'all, 3 M's. Mindset, movement, manifestation, and spirituality. Tap in with that when you moving outside of your underground. When you stepping outside of your comfort zone. Because that's what's gonna take you to the next level. Everything starts with personal development. You got to be aware of your environment. You got to be aware of where you are. Because where you currently are is not where you have to stay. Push yourself past your limits. Give it all you got. Get yourself a charging station. Make sure you got a battery pack in you. You got to be ready to take yourself there. Tell yourself, I deserve more. I want more. I am more. I'm abundant. I can. I will. I'm possible. You got to tell yourself that. And remember this. Today is the oldest you've ever been, the youngest you ever be. Give it all you got. Tap in, y'all. Don't ever tap out. And by the way, y'all, I'm gonna make sure I drop another video on how we need to get up off our box that's full of dreams, that's full of gold, that's full of wealth, because we need to talk a little bit more about all the opportunity that we've been sitting on for all these years. So I'm ready for that. We're gonna drop that next, so stay tuned for it.